Important accessory we need to build is a leash. And it turns out Lego actually makes these special string pieces with studs on each end, that way they can attach to each other. So I went ahead and bought as many as I could, and together they make one giant string, which will make the perfect leash for my dog. So let's attach it to his collar and take him on a walk. Nice, it works. And as another wearable accessory, I also built my dog these Lego glasses. Yeah, these are pretty pointless, but they look cool. Okay, something all dogs love is chasing squirrels. And it turns out Lego actually sells a buildable version of one. So my plan is to build this thing and surprise my dog with it. Okay, the squirrel's finished, and it actually looks pretty real. It's even holding the small nut. So now I'm gonna put this squirrel outside and surprise my dog with it to see how he reacts. Go get the squirrel. Wow, he didn't even notice it, so it looks like my prank failed. Another thing dogs love is getting scratched. So this next item I built is a simple Lego scratching tool with these 3 pointy tips on the end. So let's test it. Oh yeah, he likes that. Next, I want to build my dog a brush to keep his fur clean. So to make the pointy tips on the brush, I'm gonna need tiny stick pieces. Because if you take enough of them, you can attach them to these special bricks with holes, and if you repeat it enough times, you can build this very realistic looking brush. So to test if this brush works, let's try removing crap from my dog's fur. Yes sir, it actually works. Okay, this next item I built is very interesting, and it's a Lego dog poop scooper. Basically, it uses this flexible piece and this giant claw which can pick up anything. Nice, let's go. Another common product for dogs is a whistle, and it turns out you can build your own custom whistle out of 3 Lego pieces. So let's see if I can call my dog with it. Nice, yes I can. Okay, this next item I'm gonna build is actually a toy, and it's a small catapult for launching treats. So I went ahead and put his favorite treat, which is an egg. Next, I want to build a working Lego dispenser for dog treats. So I built this one with a sliding piece inside that will dispense 1 treat at a time, and above it I built a glass case to put all the treats, and I even decorated it with this small dog bone. But what makes this treat dispenser special is that every time you shut and open the door, a new treat will appear. So it's like an unlimited money glitch, but with dog treats. Okay. This next item I'm gonna build is actually a personal invention of mine, and it uses a small Lego motor that will rotate anything you attach to it. So I went ahead and built my own Lego dog toy, which is this pole you attach a treat to, and when you turn it on, the treat begins spinning, making it a challenging game to get it. Okay, my dog's struggling to get the treat, and it's not spinning like how I thought, so this invention kind of failed. Okay, this next Lego build I'll make outside because I want to build a life-size Lego dog house. And because my dog is big, I'm gonna need as many Lego bricks as possible. Okay, I'm out of bricks, and look at what we've built. Yeah, basically nothing, so we need a different plan. Nope. Okay, yeah, regular Lego bricks won't work. So instead, I bought giant Lego bricks off Amazon that are way larger than normal Lego. So this should work perfectly. Okay, the house is finished. It has 2 big windows and this giant door on the front. Let's see if it's sturdy. Nice, yes it is. Now we can surprise my dog with his brand new house, and he actually seems to like it. It's also the perfect size for him because he has plenty of space inside. Now since we have these giant Lego blocks, I have one final build I want to make, and it's a Lego obstacle course with multiple challenges. So for this first challenge, he has to get past these tall pillars without knocking them over. For challenge number 2, he needs to crawl under this small bridge, and for the third final challenge, he needs to jump over this wall.
Okay, come. Come. Jump.
Okay, I think I made the wall too tall for him, so I fixed it by making it a little shorter, and now let's try it again.
Okay, come here.
A fragment of the Earth's oldest dream, it lay there, while oceans move and forests rise. Still, it lay there, pressed by gravity, kissed by fire. This is not an object. It is a witness to time, to beauty, to love, to you. Natural Diamonds, eternally yours.
Hi, my name is Mike Campanella of Bayside Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. We're family owned and operated for over 40 years. We're the #1 rated dealer in the United States on Cars.com.
Nice. Thanks for watching. Shout out to my dog and comment what I should build next. So I'll see y'all in the next one. Take care. This is a Lego hot dog, this is a barrel, and this is a rice farmer hat. But what if I told you that you can use these exact same pieces to make a tree, a Japanese building, and an AK-47? Bruh. Today I'm going to be taking several Lego pieces and using them in ways people would not expect. Starting with this microphone. If you take one, you can make a door handle. And on the same build, you can see I used a paint roller for a porch light. If you don't have a microphone, you can use a ball joint. And if you don't have a microphone or a ball joint, you can make a door handle from a tiny antenna that goes on this Boba Fett minifig. Or you could literally use a gun. It also rotates just like a door handle. If you have one of these special plates with extra studs on the side, you can replace it with the hips of a minifigure, attach the legs, and with that, you can put it in some cool positions like have it do the splits or a flying sidekick. Here's a nature build, and I use several tricks here. For the trunk of the tree, I use an antenna, which helps add support and also lets the tree bend like in real life. On the ground, I used a blank minifigure head to make a mushroom. I also made a second mushroom, but for this one, I used a Technic gear and an animal horn to have it tipped over. To go with this tree, we can add some dead leaves. I can use minifigure hands and these pointy teeth pieces. I also use these teeth pieces to make a hay roof for a tropical hut like this, and you can also use horn pieces to make the tip of a gas can. Now it's time for a quick speed round. I went to Instagram to have you guys name me random Lego pieces, then see what I can make with them. First piece is a hot dog, aka Glizzy. I'm not capping, you can actually use a hot dog to make a gun. I also discovered you can use it to make a crossbow. If you take some minifigure hands, you can also use it to make a Japanese gate. It kind of looks like that, I guess. Next piece is a Harry Potter wand. Well, if you take some, you can make legs for a table. How about tiles? Well, if you take square ones that have graphics, they kind of look like album covers, and you can actually make a small vinyl collection. What about Technic pieces? Well, if you take this weird one, put a flame inside of it, lay it down, then you have a campfire. Can I be in the video? Sure. What about chains? You can make a fence, or you can use it as jewelry on a minifig. My boy looking pretty drippy. What about a bucket? If you take one and remove the handles, you can make a flower pot. And with these leftover handles, you can make legs on a chair. And to make the back of the chair, I used this tile with a triangular tip. Someone suggested a sword. Well, if you take these Minecraft swords, they actually interlock and it's super satisfying, and you can make some cool work with them. Speaking of Minecraft, you can also take a trident and make a fence. As we continue discussing our tricks, this video is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. You've probably heard almost every big YouTuber say that, but that's right. We've officially made it, people. We actually got sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. By the way, if you take skateboard wheels, you can use them as dumbbells. It's a free action-packed mobile and PC game where you can take the role of over 600 different warriors with unique skills, build a team, battle, defend, and conquer. Also, if you take a loaf of bread, you can make a sailboat. You won't get bored because the game constantly updates. For example, Raid has an amazing game mode, Doom Tower, which brings loads of challenges and terrifying bosses to fight. Also, if you take gray hair, you can use it as a mop. From now till November 5th, there's an exclusive Halloween event for new players where you have the chance to win legendary champions and even real-life prizes like $1,000 Amazon gift cards. It's totally free. You just need your Raid player ID, so head to trickortreat.polarium.com, spin a wheel, and get a prize. And if you take minifigure hands, you can use it for a coffee machine. Okay, now it's time you go play Raid Shadow Legends. Click my link or scan this QR code, and if you're a new player, you can unlock a free starter pack worth $30, including one champion and a load of loot. Rewards will only be in your inbox for the next 30 days only. Anyway, let's go back to becoming master builders. What about ice cream? Well, I made a snow-covered bush that uses 3 of them. Right next to it, I also used these car wash pieces to make a frosty looking tree. But going back to ice cream, you can also use it to make bubbles. I also took some levers, broke them apart, and used the bottom of them to hold glass pieces. It's an illegal building technique, so cops about to pull up, but if you take the bottoms of these levers, you can also make a cool looking flower. And to hold this flower, you can see I used a minifigure cup as a base. But if you want other ways to hold flowers, you can straight up use a bowl. If you have window frames, you can use them as legs on a table, and since you have leftover glass, you can use it to make water. It adds a glistening effect just like water in real life. This is Asian Man. If we take his hat, we can use it to make a cool oriental themed build like this. You can also use a dish piece just like this. Speaking of dish pieces, you can also make a satellite dish, or you can make an umbrella, and on this table are some paper plates I made using some round tiles with a stud in the middle. Now going back to the build, I took some of these rotating pieces, broke them apart, and used the bottom of them to make some cool looking windows. And with these pieces, you can also make something like a milk crate. You could also make custom windows if you take panels and place them sideways. Okay, now it's time to ask my fellow Lego bro, Sacred, what tricks he can share to my fans. Okay, I'm trying to find 100 Lego tricks, and I need some ideas. Do you have any?
Yes, I do. Here are some of the greatest Lego tricks you will ever feast your eyes on. First thing we have is a chair. So the way I built this chair was by putting fang pieces inside holes and then connecting that to the chair to make it elevated. And if you want a Lego minifigure with a really long neck, you can actually add a cone piece of the same skin color. This is a special one. I thought about this on the spot. If you use a brown ice cream piece, you could use it to represent poop.
Shout out to my boy Sacred. Thanks for that free content.
Your favorite browser just got better. Again. Meet the latest updates to Gemini and Chrome, like a new side panel for more browsing and less toggling. Recall the sites you visited and chats you had.
What about cherries? There's this game I used to play as a kid called Ladder Ball, where you try to get a bunch of strings and balls on the end to wrap around a bar. So I made my own in Lego. This is a barrel, and it has really cool texture on the side. So if you take enough of them, you can actually make a tree like what I did here. If you only have one barrel, you can still make a tree. All you have to do is take some poles, put them inside, add some leaves, and just to hold everything together, you can use these Indiana Jones whips. This is a two-piece, and if you take off the arms of a torso like this, shove one of these through, then add hands, you can make flimsy arms. Definitely doesn't look like this guy hits the gym though. If you have these weird looking pieces, you can take the same torso, shove these inside, then you have two spots you can connect things to, so you can get creative and make something like a human cyborg. Kind of like Mark Zuckerberg. These are vertical hinges, and aside from being hinges, you can take them apart to make a medieval window. On the back of these hinges is a tiny spot where the top is exposed, so you can use it for extra detail in a wall. You can also use these hinges for wheels on a cart, and I also used plates with an extra lip for drawer handles, and this round tile with a bar on the top for a bottle of water. And you can use this same piece to make a candlestick, or an ink bowl for a hat plume, which also looks like a feathered calligraphy pen. Here's a dude getting a fresh cut. I used a cape for the blanket thing that the barber puts around your neck and is supposed to catch your hair, and for the chair he's sitting on, I used two guns for armrest. This is a hinge plate. When you fold it in either way, a half of the circle appears on the edge, so it makes a good drawer handle. I also used the hollow part of this brick for extra storage. And I also took a fez, which is a type of hat, and used it as a lamp. Here's a bed. I used tiny slopes and laid them down sideways to make detailed sheets, and I also used a larger white slope for a pillow. Here's a tiny bathroom, and there's several tricks we can get from this. First off, I used a cooking pot for a toilet bowl. I also used a lifesaver for the toilet seat, and if we look at the sink, I used a bowl for the sink bowl. I used a gun piece for the faucet, but I realized you can take a frog, and that also looks like a faucet as well. You can also use a lifesaver as a door on a washing machine. Here's an old building, and there's 10 tricks I used here. First, I used ingot bars for bricks, and since the edges are bezeled, I used them to replicate cracks in the wall and the floor. I also made the wall look cracked using studs, rounded plates, these rounded tiles. I also used these corner tiles to make the ground look cracked. Yeah, just lots of cracks. I used faucet pieces and minifigure legs to improve the facade, and also took transparent pieces and made broken glass. And I finessed a lightsaber in order to make this drain pipe on the side. Definitely wouldn't want to meet someone for a Craigslist deal in this type of alleyway. What can we do with grills? First off, we can make a vent. Kind of sus. You can also use them for keys on a piano. I also learned that if you take an arch and look closely, there's a lot of empty space underneath, so you can actually take grills, fit them underneath, and you can make a window. Okay, last 10 tricks, here we go. The most useless Lego pieces you can probably ever own in your life are broken pieces, right? Well, I'm about to prove you wrong, because even these pieces can be used to make something like a rotten hardwood floor that looks straight out of a horror movie. I also found this hollow transparent ball that cracks in half. You can use this for an astronaut helmet, but if you put colorful studs in it, you can also make a gumball machine, or even use it for a street lamp. What can you do with crates? Other than hold stuff like they're intended, they have unique patterns on the side, so you can take advantage of that and use them to make something like this bookshelf. This is a round plate, but it's special because it's got points all around it you can clip things to. If you add transparent plates around it, you can make a luxurious chandelier that only a super rich person could probably afford. You can also use transparent tiles to make a lantern. What about a net? You can thread it through some studs and make a trampoline. Another flimsy piece is the string, but if you take two of them, you can make a suspension bridge. For the railing, I used some skeleton arms. Wow, and it looks like that finishes our 100th trick. But since it took me forever to make this video, here's a bonus ones. Here's some tiny slopes, but you can use to make the armrest of a couch. You can also use them to make a pair of shoes, or you can take a minifigure, remove its legs, and make it look like it's kneeling down. These are rounded 1x2 plates, and if you take 2 of them, you can make a pair of slippers. You can also use them to make a heater. What can we do with a pair of roller skates? Well, it turns out they look like miniature cars, or they also look like exhaust tips on a car. On the same car, I also used a pair of Technic hinges for side mirrors, and I think binoculars can also look like exhaust tips on a car, but you can use them to extend the length of a gun. What about a telescope? If you take enough, you can make railing for a house. And for the last bonus trick, you can take a transparent dome, fill it with studs, and you have a water dispenser. And I also used cone pieces for cups. Guys, please give this video a like, because your boy's in a foreign country, and I still made the effort to make this video even on vacation. Also, we're almost at 1 million subscribers, so go onto your girlfriend's and your parents' YouTube account and subscribe. Thank you for watching, see you later. This is a 1x1 plate.
You could be vaping formaldehyde, which is used in taxidermy.
Oh dear.
What?
Formaldehyde. Oh dear.
What?
I knew it. Oh dear, oh dear.
What?
Aren't you an elk?
I don't know what I am.
And this is 12,288 1x1 plates.
Wow.
In this video, I'm going to challenge myself to transform this entire plot of Legoland into a complete Lego city with thriving life. Will this be a success or a failure? Let the challenge begin. So the objective is simple. Take this plot of grass that looks as empty as my chances of getting women and turn it into a legit minifig civilization that has everything a normal city could need. I have no clue how long this is going to take me, but I'm going to try to build as fast as I can. Before we begin making our city, we first need to introduce the civilians that will be living here. After an hour of building, we had close to 100 minifigures. Okay, we got some police officers, including the dude from Lego City Undercover. Great game. Basketball players. This guy's so cool. I can punch him like 100 times and he won't fall over. Let's go! Buckets. We got several random citizens, and to honor Queen Elizabeth, here she is. Rest in peace. She lived a good 96 years. And I can't believe I spent close to $500 on all this. So please like. So we have our citizens, but they're mad at me because I gave them empty land and they're now eating grass. So we need to start building right now. First, I speed ran to Target to buy a Lego set we can use. Alright, looks like our first building is added. Oh wait, I just realized something. We can't use Lego sets because it's too easy and it's also cheating, and cheating is for losers and weenies. For this entire city, I'm gonna be making everything from scratch, so that sounds challenging, but I don't care because it's fire content. First, we need a place for our citizens to live. So how about we make a large condo building with several living spaces? So let's start adding some walls and windows. I want this condo building to have multiple floors, so let's make the first floor a lobby room with a reception desk, lounge area, and a game room with an air hockey table, water dispenser, and popcorn machine. I'm then going to continue building the walls, adding some paintings and an elevator shaft. So that finishes the first floor, but for the second floor, let's start adding condos. This elevator shaft spits you out into this balcony where you can access both of them. But these condos look as boring as an airline flight safety video. So let's sauce it up and add some IKEA furniture. That's more like it. And I feel like 2 condos isn't enough, so let's add 2 more. And to do that, we need to make a 3rd floor. Again, I made more furniture, so let's throw that in. And just like that, our 3rd floor is done. Lastly, let's add a roof, a sidewalk in front of the building, and boom, our civilians are a lot happier now. And I can't lie, I think this building looks pretty fire. Oh, wait, I didn't mean it in that way. Oh yeah, speaking of dragons, this video is sponsored by Dragon City: The Walking Dead. Dragon City is a free game where you can collect, breed, evolve, and train dragons to battle other dragons. You can become a dragon master and build an empire so big that Hiccup would be jealous. And not only that, but 6 iconic characters from The Walking Dead have been added to the game through 6 new dragons. Each dragon is unique, possessing its own special ability, which makes battling super fun. For example, this is Negan. His primary element is happiness, but he can make opponents weep with his bat. You can get not only him, but Maggie, Rick, and Carol through the offers or the newly added Breeding Island. You can then master the Michonne quest to get the Michonne dragon. And if you collect all 5 of those dragons, you'll receive the Daryl dragon for free. So if you click the link below or scan this QR code right here, you can collect all the exclusive Walking Dead dragons and get a juicy starter pack with 15,000 food, 30,000 gold, and this zombie nature dragon. Dragon City is the absolute GOAT for sponsoring this video, but our minifigs are starting to get mad at me, so let's go back to building this Lego city. Okay, so we built a home for our citizens, but they're still eating grass, which is a problem. So we need to provide them with a fire fast food chain that serves high quality bussin' food on God. Oh, we can make a Chick-fil-A. Yep, the chicken sandwich franchise. Let's put this right next to the condo building. So first, let's start with the outside. Okay, we got lots of space inside, so let's start adding things. I'll then add a kitchen, drive-through window, order station, a table for customers to eat, and one of those indoor playgrounds I would always go on as a kid while waiting for my food, and that also attract a cesspool of boogers. Now that looks like a Chick-fil-A. We can now add a roof, some plants around the building, and a customer pulling up in a sports car. I then went to a random library in my town to print out the company logo. That's more like it. Now the citizens of our city no longer need to be worrying about eating dirt, but can now eat pure chicken sandwich goodness. The only problem is that some of our citizens are vegan, so in protest they dressed up as vegetables and are now beating up one of the employees. After all that building, I think I'm gonna go get some food. Can I get a #1 combo? Chick-fil-A did not pay me to do this, by the way. So our citizens have a place to live, a place to eat, but they don't have a place to buy shaving cream, bleach, and ninja bullets. That calls us to make a general store where our minifigs can buy basic essentials to make their lives more convenient. I want to make this store happy looking, like you'd want to shop in it and spend money, so let's make it yellow. And here's the store logo. I have no idea what it says, but it looks cool. And to conserve parts, I didn't fully finish the roof, but that gives us space to build the inside. I made 3 racks with different categories of items. The first one has kitchen and household items, the other has toys, games, and hobby related stuff, and the last rack has hygiene items, cleaning supplies, medicine, and other random crap. So let's throw those in. And it looks like our customers are already flooding in to buy stuff. Oh, wait, Darth Vader, you weren't supposed to give us a real one to sell. But anyway, our third building is fully complete, but at this point it was 3 in the morning, so I was getting tired and it was time to call it a day. So aside from living in a small condo, eating chicken nuggets, and buying laxatives from a store, the city is as empty as my DMs. Bruh. Let's add some flavor to the lives of our citizens and make their town less depressing by adding a shopping mall. We can include a ton of stuff in this. Okay, so we got the exterior done. I then went ahead and detailed the front entrance, adding a fountain, a few trees, and a few benches. Let's move inside now. Every mall needs some sort of place to socialize and eat, so here's an ice cream shop where people can get dessert after eating their delicious chicken sandwiches. And I know that hair doesn't grow on minifigs, but let's include a barber shop. Let me see those waves. Hey, I like that cut, G. We still have room for 2 more stores, so let's go ahead and add a Hypebeast shoe store so our minifigs can get super dripped out in some J's, and a basic clothing store with tops and bottoms. At this point, the mall is almost complete, so let's finish it off with a roof. I am running low on parts, so I'm gonna keep it like one of those outdoor mall roofs. They have a bunch of windows. This mall fills in a lot of empty space, so I'm really happy about that. This city is starting to feel like a concrete jungle, so time to sprinkle in some life and plants. Next to the mall, I'm gonna add a park with lots of grass and a trail so people can jog or walk their dog. In this corner, I'll put a basketball court. Come on, let's see some buckets.
The last thing that I remember is opening the car door and Ryan getting into the passenger side.
From that point, I don't recall anything until waking up in the hospital several days later.
That was when I was informed that we'd been hit by a drunk driver.
What attracted me to Waymo was being a part of something that can have a positive impact on those who have been victims of drunk driving. Autonomous driving has the opportunity to remove the error of human choice. We can finally get to a future where there are 0 deaths due to drunk driving.
Can I get 2 slices of pizza?
No. Of course, honey.
No, you never ever finish 2.
Hello?
Mr. and Mrs. Cannon. I'm Deputy Chief of the U.S. Embassy.
Yes, sir.
Let's throw in a bench and a picnic table where people are doing a mukbang video. I'll also include a lady doing yoga and a dude riding a bike. And it looks like quite a bit of things are going on now at the park. After all that building, I really need to touch grass. Okay, bet, let's keep going. You know what I just realized? We've made all these businesses, but where the heck do the minifigs even get the money to spend at these places? So I think the city needs a source of ching-ching. So let's make a bank. I'm gonna build it in front of the condos across the street from the mall. So inside, let's include a bench and a kiosk with bulletproof glass. I also made a safe, so let's fill that up. Now that's some money right there. Let's also fill this crate with gold. Nice. Let's continue building the walls, add a roof, and our bank is complete. Our citizens now have a home, Chick-fil-A, general store, shopping mall, park, and now a source of money. At this point, nothing can go wrong. Oh, I didn't see that coming. Well, now it looks like our city is getting so big that we're having to deal with crime. So how about we build a police station to deal with all the annoying people robbing this bank? This looks so ugly.
Nope.
Okay, at this point of building, I was getting really tired and very discouraged, but our city was so close to being done and I could see the light at the end of the tunnel. Okay, now that's looking better. We've got a lot of criminals to deal with, so we need a jail cell. I'll put this in the back of the station and include a few basic things that look very depressing and prison-y, like a toilet that probably hasn't been cleaned since the Vietnam War, a sink, and a few beds. I'm also gonna build a separate room with an office for the cops to work in, and to be super intimidating, here's a helicopter. It also looks cool. And it looks like our police station is complete. So it's time to deploy the chopper and lock up these criminals. Wow, this actually feels like a Lego City commercial. And for our last stretch of speed building, we have one spot left in our city to complete. Even with the park, I feel like the city needs one more touch of life, so I say we add a beach. I'm gonna use some tan pieces for the sand, blue plates for the water. Let's add a sandcastle, a lifeguard tower, and a lady laying down on a blanket listening to music. And it looks like that completes our beach, but we're not quite done yet. There's a few more final touches I want to add to the city. First off, I'm gonna add a couple roads using a sideways building technique to fill in the empty spaces. And since we have roads now, I'm gonna add a few more cars, like this delivery truck, this police car, this car that looks like a Subaru, and one of these toy cars you see at almost every daycare center. Driving one of these is a real flex. Every city needs a hero, so how about we add Batman? Now the police officers can enjoy their donuts and have a little less crime to deal with, while Batman can drive around and punch the crap out of criminals. And it looks like that finishes our city. Wow, that took over 40 hours, and I'm feeling really tired now. Wow, I can go rest now. I think Dwayne Johnson's pretty impressed. How about you, villager? What do you think? But there's a few more things I want to do. First, I want to do one of those cool drone shots that you see people do over cities. Okay, here we go. What's gonna happen? Now let's simulate some natural disasters, starting with an earthquake. I'm scared. That actually is not too bad. Next up, let's simulate a tornado. Pretty much all the roofs came off. Which is actually pretty realistic. I'm pretty